sound there and a big action thriller sound, and then juxtaposed against the little bleak.
Created the show, and Josh is the showrunner, which means he's the lead writer on the show.
Right.
What's it like working with Josh? I hear he can be really hands-on with the music.
Oh, Josh is amazing. I mean, he really has a good sense of music. He's listening to music all the time. And just for your listeners, Josh created the OC, which was on for a number of seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was the youngest showrunner ever at the time. He was like 26 or something.
Yeah.
So he's a young guy, and tons of energy, really wonderful to work with. Has a great sense of humor, and is also very good at kind of guiding the emotional path of the show. I've really enjoyed working with Josh in the aspect that, he really knows where to pull back on a scene musically, or where to kind of lean on it a little bit. And I've really learned a lot from him about, the emotional arc of a scene, or even the emotional arc of an episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been fun. And yeah, so to answer your question, I would say he is very hands-on, but not so much in a way that I in any way feel squelched. I mean, he's also really great about, I try something wacky and it works, and he goes, that's fun. When Harry Tang went in his master remote, and I said, guys, I really want to run with this Lord of the Rings thing, and they're like, well, okay, give it a try, see what you think. And
Yeah.
and we all ended up, thinking that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, I noticed on your credits you've done some work on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I actually did. I worked on a video game, Lord of the Rings, The Middle Earth. It was a pretty big game on PC. No, me, give me the throw and but near the roll me go eat van Oscar ja det är ska I Peter so I think it's funny but in all you in it Nick if you sunny how should we get LTs, it just keeps coming up. So
Oh yeah.
it's a really cute little movie, and that was a chance to do some kind of orchestral comedic stuff, which definitely comes to play in Chuck.
Yeah.
That really kind of cut my teeth on putting a lot of these modern beats and things underneath orchestral backdrop.
Yeah.
Which really plays into the texture and the fabric of the music for Chuck. So it's kind of been just a
perfect flavor for exactly what he's in, because you've got these dramatic and exciting situations, and then you've got his nerdness to mix with that.
Right. Yeah, Chuck's sort of, I mean, I'm sure he would agree that he's a lovable geek, you know what I mean? He's like, and I relate to Chuck, laugh over that.
I can totally relate. That leads towards a couple of questions that I was going to ask. Now, just for our listeners, they may not know that Josh Schwartz, along with Chris Fedek, created the show, and Josh is the showrunner, which means he's the lead writer on the show.
Right.
What's it like working with Josh? I hear he can be really hands-on with the music.
Oh, Josh is amazing. I mean, he really has a good sense of music. He's listening to music all the time. We sound there.